Well, I'll say this, it has to be a day of anniversaries because I just talked about the 27th anniversary of Sonic SAT-AM, and now I'm talking about the 36th anniversary of a show that I've been a fan of since I was a kid. And basically, it was the first Hasbro product that I became a fan of through its adaptation onto animation in 1984, and that is, of course, Transformers. And honestly, folks, basically, I've been a fan since 1984. That is a long time. And the reason I say that basically is because, as I probably have mentioned before, the way I became a fan, basically, of Transformers was since I was only like 5 years old, and that's a train in the background, and the dogs are howling at it because of its blowing its whistle. But like I said, the way I became a fan of Transformers, especially Generation 1, back in 1984, was I was 5 years old, and my mom was basically homeschooling me for at least 2 years, 84 and 85, before I went to kindergarten around 86. Yeah, I was a late bloomer at that when it came to public schooling. But anyway, she plopped me in front of the television because I didn't have any friends really at that time. I mean, the only friends I had were those that I knew from church, Sunday school, and of course my own relatives, my cousins. So she sat me in front of the television to watch cartoons around noontime, basically around 12 o'clock, 12:30, after she would do about 4 hours of homeschool, 3 to 4 hours of homeschool. Then after that was done, she would, just do her jobs around the house, like clean the house, keep it nice and tidy, make lunch for me and her, stuff like that. And usually she would plop me in front of the television to watch cartoons, and one of the cartoons that came on around the afternoon, just as my sisters were getting back from school, was Transformers. So I was plopped in front of the television, and I ended up watching Transformers from the very beginning. Now, this isn't the only DVD sets I have of Transformers. I do actually have the Rhino sets as well. In fact, I will try to find a picture of those, or I will provide a link to a video I did on them back like around 2010, 2009 or something like that, so you guys can see that I do have them. But yeah, I have the Rhino versions as well to go along with these. And first of all, the first one, of course, the main one, is Generation 1, the complete series. And basically, I also have the complete G1 series through, like I say, through Rhino. But this is basically more appropriately aesthetic, I guess, because as some people said, they're not using, because Rhino Home Video actually had to correct this later on, but basically in the later volumes, that is, that they released. But basically here you don't have any like added sound effects. It's just basically the regular episodes, plopped onto DVD, kind of, cleaned up a little bit. And there you go. There you go. Basically you do have extra features, of course, but Rhino also has extra features you can't get anywhere else as well. As a matter of fact, one of the features that they have is looking at BotCon 2001. Yeah, looking at the BotCon convention there. So anyway, this is the complete first series, or complete G1 series. And then to follow it up, even though these were Japan exclusives, and I knew about them, I heard about them later on, like when the internet started to talk about them, because a lot of us probably didn't even know about these unless we lived on the West Coast or in certain parts of the West Coast, and we got these, and we got the English dub versions that many people felt were not good. But these are the Japanese collection. These are the Japanese continuation of G1 right here. And this is Headmasters. This is Super God, Master Force, and Victory. And then there is another one. You can find it here on the YT as well as other places, called Zone. And that was the last one they did. And Zone was coming after Victory. Yeah, but basically these three kind of connect to G1 from a Japanese standpoint. And then, of course, we have the sequel to G1, basically. Sequel, prequel, whatever you want to call it. Beast Wars, which I thought it was a good series. It came out in '94, and it really and at first a lot of people were like, I don't know, it's CGI, it's a different kind of Transformers, how is it going to really, interest our peak? And then they started just exploring the lore of the Maximals and the Predacons, and how they came to be, and basically they integrated the fact that the Predacons and the Maximals, of course, are descendants of the Decepticons and the Autobots. And long story short, what happens is the story plops the descendants, if you will, of the Autobots and Decepticons into the past, where they actually see or actually encounter, even though they're still in stasis mode, their ancestors. So it's pretty good. So that's pretty good, and I like how it kind of makes that connection, so that if you're a longtime G1 fan, you're basically given the fact, or what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to look for is you're basically gifted the fact that that Beast Wars takes place basically somewhat in the same continuity as G1, just in the future. And this was, of course, released for the 15th anniversary of the show, so that was pretty cool. And then, of course, you had the follow-up that only went for about a season, called Beast Machines, and it was all right. I mean, it met with some controversy and everything, because the way they had the designs for the characters, the Predacons, or the Viacons now, and the Maximals, was more humanoid than anything else. So yeah, basically, it kind of had like a mixed reaction, but I thought it was all right. I was glad at least they were continuing it. Unlike G1 originally, where it took Japan to continue it, and it took certain parts of the West Coast to get those Japanese ones to kind of get that continuation. Now, of course, speaking of Transformers, can't talk about it without talking about the movies here. And this here was the Blu-ray version, the first Blu-ray version I had of the movie. This is the first Blu-ray version I had of the movie. This was released originally by Madman Entertainment in the UK. Now, some people thought, was it going to be playable? Would you be able to play it? And surprisingly, you can. You can play this. I don't know if I can play it in my UHD Ultra Blu-ray player, but we'll have to wait. We'll have to check that out in the future. And then, of course, got this one when it came out. This is the Steelbook. I got it through Amazon. My job did sell this, but they only sold the DVD. I think they did for a limited time sell the Blu-ray, but it was mostly the DVD that they sold. So I went on Amazon and got the Steelbook of the movie. When they finally officially, Shout Factory was able to get the rights to it. And then, of course, have all the Transformer films that they did. I don't think I'm missing one. Let's see. The first one, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, Last Night. So, yeah, I don't think I'm missing anyone. I don't think so. I have to double check. And then, of course, we have Bumblebee. So yeah, I have basically all the live action Transformers movies, as well as the animated ones. And then over here, of course, as you can see, I have the movie poster. This is the same movie poster that you see in the background when James Rolfe would talk about Transformers. This is the same movie poster, except he has it on his wall without a frame. And you can tell the frame on here it's still in the frame, but it's like, just barely. The frame is a shell of its former self. Let's put it that way. The frame is a shell of its former self, but hopefully it'll stay on there for a while. But I ended up getting this basically when I lived in Kansas, and then when I ended up moving, I had to take it with me. Of course, I'm not going to leave this in Kansas. Are you out of your mind? You know. And then, of course, I have my Titans Return Metroplex here. And then over here, I have my Titans Returns Fortress Maximus. And then right next to it, I have my Power of the Primes Rodimus Hot Rod figure. And then, of course, over here, as I've shown before, I have a variety of Transformers. Like I got Earthrise Hoist. I got the Alternate Universe Optimus Prime. I got the Siege releases of Hound here, and of Chromia. So I got those two. And then of course I have to get the reissues of the classics. You gotta get the reissues of the classics. So here, got Hot Rod and Astro Train. And then of course, as I've talked about before, reacquired that a couple years ago. That's that's the original Power Master Optimus Prime. It's not the one that I ended up getting for Christmas. I mean, not Christmas, but for my birthday. But it might be. I don't know. You never know around in these worlds. It could be a small world. It could be the same one. I don't know. But that's the Power Master one. And then we have Titans Returns Perceptor over there. And then, of course, we have the covers for the crossover they're doing right now between Transformers and My Little Pony. And then right here, we have a set of Transformers and Decepticons. These are basically characters from the movie. Here, like this has Cyclonus and two of the Sweeps. Scourge, I think, is in there as well. And this one has Hot Rod, Redgar, and a Junkion, I believe. And then over here, if I can just move that stuff a little bit, we have Ectotron, which is the Ghostbusters crossover that they were doing. And then under that, we have Grapple of Earthrise. We have the reissue of the original Soundwave. And then below that, we have the reissue of G1 Starscream, and then we have Powers of the Prime Alita 1 right there. And then in here, because I have no other place for them, I have a lot of my Transformers. As you can see, I have a lot of Transformers. Like I have G1 Optimus Prime reissue. I have, I think, what is it, Power of the Primes, Optimus, which is basically similar to the mold that they used for Alternate Universe Prime. Then I have my other ones. I have Ultra Magnus, I have Skywarp. I have some Transformer stuff over there, as you could probably see, just barely. You could kind of, let me get a little light in there. You could see some over there. And then, of course, I have this. This was the Optimus Prime that they advertised, I think, at one of the conventions. This is for the 20th anniversary of the movie. And of course it does that. And then
Autobots, transform and roll out.
And then so it does that. And then over here I have the book, The Covenant of the Primus, which is a great collector's item. Cannot go without that. Of course I have other figures as well, as you could see in here. Just a bunch of stuff. And then very carefully over here I have my other Transformers, like I said. So there are those. And then to kind of finish it off a little bit, get down here for a second, move these for a moment. These are my PS4 controllers. Move this, and that's my monster box, if you will. That's for my video capture box, anyway, to contain my video capture device. We have Transformers, The Ultimate Guide by DK Books. I have this, so that's pretty cool. And then, of course, have the Ultimate price guide. I think they updated this information, identification, and price guide book of Transformers. So got those. Put these all back, basically, if you will. Here we go. Just do it like that. It shouldn't harm it too much. So yeah, I got those. And then over here, as I've shown before, and I'll show it again, these are, of course, my vinyls. These are my vinyl albums. Of course, I have the reissuing of the original soundtrack for the movie on vinyl. And then, in addition, I have this one, which was talked about. This is a special edition where you have two vinyls. One has the Decepticon logo, and one has the Autobot logo. One's in red, as you could see here, and then the other on the inside, which is right here, is in purple. And then you just get this nice little cover. You get these nice pictures and all that, which is pretty cool. And I think you can fold it around any which way you want, and you know, just really, really nice artwork and everything to go with your album. And then you can see what's on each vinyl. So it's really cool to have that in the collection. And of course, I do have the soundtrack on the CD. Of course, I have the soundtrack on CD. You can't go wrong with that. Have the CD in there, as well as in there the score as well. I have the score CD as well. So again, like I said, you can't go wrong with that. So guys, again, wanted to come on here and show my appreciation and celebrate 36 years of Transformers overall. Like I said, basically when I was a kid, in 1984, my mom plopped me in front of the television because, like I said, she was homeschooling me for about 2 years before putting me into kindergarten, late bloomer, if you will, in 86. But basically, yeah, she would plop me in front of the television to watch shows and everything, or I'd play in my room. And one of the shows she plopped me in front of the television that I would end up watching, of course, was Transformers. Overall, you know, it's great to know that this franchise has been going on for such a long time. I like the idea, honestly, that they're trying to go back to the original roots. Like, even though, you know, we're doing the War for Cybertron deal right now, where we got Siege, and then we got Beast Kingdom, and then we got Earthrise coming. Obviously, it's their way of doing a more modern interpretation of G1, and I really appreciate that, because again, you take a look at what they're doing with the crossover here between Transformers and MLP, and it basically feels like it's a cross between G1 Transformers and G4 MLP. So, excuse me there. So overall, again, I just wanted to come out and show my appreciation and celebrate and wish Transformers a happy 36 on this day of anniversaries, because like I said, just before this, I did one on Sonic Sat AM, so it's kind of weird here when you think about it, that both franchises, when you think about this, folks, both very, very popular within the same, I'll put it this way, it's like the same group of people that grew up liking Transformers G1 have liked and still love Sonic Sat AM and those characters. Very weird. Very, very weird, very small worldish, if you will, when it comes to that. But hey, you know, that's something that you could actually, you know, kind of give a thumbs up to, because two very popular franchises debuting on the same day, basically 9 years apart from each other, or almost 10 years apart from each other, I think is pretty cool. But again, wanted to come out here and just show my appreciation and my love for Transformers on the 36th anniversary Transformers overall, the franchise. And let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I am out. I'm probably going to go and get my dog some lunch for her right now, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out. God bless. Let me know what you all think down below.